Item: SCP-1163. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures: SCP-1163 is to be contained in a 3.5 by 3.5 meter cell containing a small bed and a nailed-down lamp. Food and water will be supplied periodically through a secured dumbwaiter, but sugary foods are only to be given as rewards for cooperation. See Addendum 1163-B. When meeting Foundation staff, both the staff member and SCP-1163 must be contained before meeting, to prevent a containment breach caused by SCP-1163's anomalous properties. All other verbal interaction with SCP-1163 is to be performed through the intercom system. Description: SCP-1163 is an entity identifiable most easily by its abnormal facial structure, characterized by its unusually green eyes, large nose, and wide mouth. When a human is in sight of SCP-1163, SCP-1163 is capable of immediately causing the other party's face to restructure into that of SCP-1163, while SCP-1163 will restructure its face into that of the other party. While the facial structure will be identical, skin tone will not be changed, and the face will be proportional to the size of the head. After the faces are switched, a process that takes between 3 and 12 seconds, depending on structural differences, the body that has the face of SCP-1163 will be controlled by SCP-1163, while the body with the face of the other party will be fully controlled by the other party, as if it was their own body. SCP-1163 is fully capable of switching back and forth, and there seems to be no limit to the amount of time SCP-1163 can spend with a body, or how rapidly SCP-1163 can switch between bodies. Though the facial structure shifts, the tissue is the same, and any blemishes, marks, scars, facial hair, or wrinkles will be conserved. A person missing a part of their face will not have the part recovered by the introduction of SCP-1163. SCP-1163 appears to have a mental capacity similar to a child around 6 years old. It is cooperative, and in particular is easily coerced with sweet foods. SCP-1163 will readily communicate verbally, but does not seem to suffer from boredom or loneliness when not spoken to, though the body used seems to have some effect on the voice. SCP-1163 generally has a high-pitched voice, and a noticeable stutter. SCP-1163 currently inhabits the body of a Caucasian male D-class. The body that the D-817 was switched into was immediately terminated to avoid complications. Recovery information: SCP-1163 was discovered in the small town of Pennsylvania, where several friends and relatives had previously reported the residents having drastically changed appearances. Police were skeptical, and refused to begin a formal investigation themselves before the Foundation became involved. When investigated by Foundation agents, it was found that during SCP-1163's attempts to avoid notice, it had exchanged the faces of a large portion of the town. SCP-1163 was then found by Foundation agents hiding inside an abandoned house under severe distress. Through the use of an agent's bag of brand candy, SCP-1163 was easily convinced to enter the custody of the Foundation. Addendum 1163-A. It has been found that excessive contact with SCP-1163's anomalous properties can cause detrimental physical effects. Continuous changing of facial structure, especially between two states with differently sized eyes, can cause accelerated vision loss. A human who has been in control of a body of a different sex may experience issues with bladder control. Addendum 1163b. SCP-1163 attempted to breach containment during an interview with Agent, where SCP-1163 used its anomalous property to switch bodies with Agent, and attempted to impersonate her. Though this goes beyond the initial estimate of SCP-1163's understanding of its own properties, it is still not complete, as it believed itself to fully resemble Agent. After incapacitated and returned to its cell, SCP-1163 was convinced to return Agent to her original body. Individual meetings with SCP-1163 are no longer authorized.